Coming live from the 215, this is your boy Rockin' Reese bringing you another edition of WCC Ring Rockers. How you doing out there out in wrestling land? Because we got a great show for you today. First of all, I want to say hey to my man out of L.A., the one, the only, EL.CIBERNETIco.
What's going on?
Oh, man, it's just a wild day, my man. A wild day, to say the least. So, just wondering, you ready to get cracking?
Oh my, I am ready. I'm pumped. Let's do this.
All right. First of all, I want to say hey, dude. Who else do we have on the line?
We also got coming to you live and direct from Dallas, Texas. All 500 pounds of him, maybe less. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Red Jones.
The Big Red Machine. What's good?
What's going on?
Yeah, we're getting ready for a good show tonight. And by the way, just so everybody know, because as we know, February is Black History Month, so today, hey, WCC, we are no exception. We're going to make sure we give honor to the African-American community who paved the way in professional wrestling. We're going to make sure they just do. But we're just going to take a little time out right now to do what we always do, give a shout-out to the indie companies that always supply us with the information. So I'm going to start off by giving our normal events that we usually have throughout the week, and then El's going to take over with the special events going on. First of all, as you know, every Wednesday night, Ohio Valley Wrestling has TV tapings at the Davis Arena, 4400 Shepherdsville Road, Louisville, Kentucky, 40218. Doors open at 6:30. Bell time is 7 p.m. All tickets are $5, and cash and credit or debit cards will be accepted. To learn more about Ohio Valley Wrestling, go to ovwrestling.com, or you can hit them up on Twitter at ovwrestling. Remember, that's Ohio Valley Wrestling, every Wednesday night at the Davis Arena, 4400 Shepherdsville Road, Louisville, Kentucky, 40218. Every Friday night, Southern Wrestling Federation comes to the SWF Arena, 106 Southside Drive, Tullahoma, Tennessee, 37388. Doors open at 6 o'clock. Bell time is 7:30. All tickets are $7. To learn more about Southern Wrestling Federation, go to swfwrestlingtn.com. Remember, that's Southern Wrestling Federation, every Friday night at the SWF Arena, 106 Southside Drive, Tullahoma, Tennessee, 37388. Every Saturday night, Battle Zone Championship Wrestling comes to the Battle Zone, 264 Old Highway 149 in McGee, Mississippi, 39111. Doors open at 7 o'clock. Bell time is 8 o'clock. All tickets are $5. To learn more about Battle Zone Championship Wrestling, look for them on Facebook. Remember, that's Battle Zone Championship Wrestling every Saturday night at the Battle Zone, 264 Old Highway 149 in McGee, Mississippi, 39111. And I just want to mention, shout out to Johnny Reynolds, who also sponsors WCC Ring Rockers. Just wanted to give a little shout out there. Also, Saturday nights, High Velocity Wrestling comes to the HVW Arena, 3515 Asheville Highway, Hendersonville, North Carolina, 28791. To find out more about High Velocity Wrestling, make sure you call 828-674-1378. Remember, that's High Velocity Wrestling every Saturday night at the HVW Arena, 3515 Asheville Highway in Hendersonville, North Carolina, 28791. Also, every Saturday night, American Pro Wrestling comes to the APW Arena, 380 Whitney Highway in Spartanburg, South Carolina, 29303. Doors open at 6:30. Bell time is 8 o'clock. Tickets are $10 for adults and $5 for kids. Remember, that's American Pro Wrestling every Saturday night at the APW Arena, 380 Whitney Highway in Spartanburg, South Carolina, 29303. Every Saturday night, Do or Die Pro Wrestling comes to the Do or Die Arena, 1509 East 5th Street in Metropolis, Illinois, 62960. Doors open at 6 o'clock. Bell time is 7 o'clock. Now, all tickets are $5. Remember, that's Do or Die Pro Wrestling every Saturday night at the Do or Die Arena, 1509 East 5th Street, Metropolis, Illinois, 62960. Every Saturday night, Outlaw Championship Wrestling Alliance comes to the Outlaw Arena, 25883 North Park Avenue in Elkhart, Indiana, 46514. Doors open at 6:30. Bell time is 7:10. Tickets are $5. And children 6 years of age and younger get in for free. To learn more about Outlaw Championship Wrestling Alliance, go to OCWAWrestling.com. Remember, that's Outlaw Championship Wrestling Alliance every Saturday night at the Outlaw Arena, 25883 North Park Avenue in Elkhart, Indiana, 46514. Also, every Saturday night, Southern Style Pro Wrestling comes to the SSPW Arena, 4484 Highway 411 North in Eaton, Georgia, 30724. Doors open at 7 o'clock. Bell time is 8 o'clock. Tickets are $5 for ages 13 and up. Children 5 and younger get in for free. Now, there's something special for children aged 6 through 12. If you present a coupon when you go to the arena, if you have 2 children that are ages 6 through 12, they get in for free. And every child after that gets in for the mere price of $2. But if you don't have the coupon, children 6 through 12 get them for $2 anyway. If you want to learn more about Southern Style Pro Wrestling, go to sites.google.com/site/Southern Style Pro Wrestling, or you can hit them up at SSPW Webmaster on Twitter. Remember, that's Southern Style Pro Wrestling every Saturday night at the SSPW Arena, 4484 Highway 411 North, Eaton, Georgia, 30724. And finally, the United Wrestling Federation comes to the Georgetown Bingo Hall at 150 Edwards Avenue in Georgetown, Kentucky, 40324. Doors open at 6 o'clock. Bell time is 6:30. All tickets are $7, and kids 5 and under get in for free. Remember, that's United Wrestling Federation every Sunday night at the Georgetown Bingo Hall, 150 Edwards Avenue, Georgetown, Kentucky, 40324. And now, with special event information, I'm going to turn it over to my co-host, EL.CIBERNETICO.
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? It all goes down really soon. How soon? How soon are we talking about, ladies and gentlemen? We all love professional wrestling, and it all goes down February 8th. Absolute Intense Wrestling proudly presents to you Conspiracy Theory, coming to you live from the Turner's Hall, 7325 Guthrie Avenue in Cleveland, Ohio. Doors open at 6:30 p.m. Bell time is at 7:30 p.m. Tickets are $15 at a first-come, first-served basis. And, of course, you got to see some championship fucking titles on the line, as the AIW title will be on the line as Eric Ryan goes one-on-one with Johnny Gargano. My bad if I fucked up your name, Johnny, but you know what? You're still the man. And, of course, my boy, A.R. Fox, going up against the unbreakable Michael Elgin. And, of course, there's more high-flying action. But in order for you to find out all that information, all you got to do is go to AIWrestling.com or follow me on Twitter at AIWrestling.
All right, and then, of course, ladies and gentlemen, to find out more about the Chikara cards, you could go to ChikaraPro.com, or you can hit them up on Twitter at ChikaraPro. Remember, back-to-back action, February 9th and 10th. All right, and now, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to get into it. This is what we call the Ring Rock and Rumble, and today is going to be a good one. So, Mr. Buffer, can you please?
Let's get ready to rumble!
That's right, ladies and gentlemen, we are ready to rumble indeed because, as you know, February is Black History Month, and we here at Wrestling Commentary Central, we do not wish to offend anybody because we like to celebrate our African-American people just as much as we celebrate any other wrestler in the world. And today we are going to look at some of the most memorable African-American figures in professional wrestling. Now, I wanted to do something a little entertaining with this one because we tend to get a little serious with it. We tend to get a little serious when we usually talk about these. So I'm actually going to divide this up into 3 categories. Proud Black Man, which is somebody we actually consider a role model. Oppressed Black Man, which would be somebody who when you look at him, it's like, oh, he ain't saying what he really feel like saying. And then, of course, a WCC favorite, Coon, and that's Coon with a K, which means, dude, what was you thinking going through with this gimmick? All right, so before we do, I just want to turn it over. L, who do we have besides, I know it's you and Brian, you and Red on the line. Do we have anybody else that came in?
Right now, it's just us.
All right, then here we go. I'm going to lead us off with the first person. I am going to start off with the WWE Hall of Famer, the first ever African-American World Heavyweight Champion in WCW. My man from the APA, y'all sometimes know him as Farouk. I know him as Big Ron Simmons of Florida State Hall of Fame Seminoles. I'm going to put him as Proud Black Man.
Oh.
And yes, I know, like, lately. Thank you, Artie. Now, I know lately all, like, we've ever seen Ron Simmons do is come on WWE TV, like, when something really ridiculous happened and just go, damn! But I will say this. If anybody remember, when he was in Doom, and then he was a bad dude, especially in the APA, because the man can like, throw down. But believe it or not, he was actually a pretty decent wrestler. Like I said, this man was the first ever Black WCW World Heavyweight Champion. And let's say, and plus, not to mention, he was an All-American in the Florida State Seminoles of football. And I gotta admit, one of the most active speakers amongst young children back in his heyday. So I'm gonna say, Big Ron, I am proud to say that you are definitely somebody who is an upstanding citizen for the African American community in professional wrestling. I'm gonna turn over Red. What you got to think about Big Ron? What category would you put him under?
Man, one of the greatest black wrestlers ever, man. I've always loved Ron Simmons. I mean, what if he was, with APA, the leader of the nation? I mean, dude was just awesome.
Oh yeah, that's right. I actually forgot to mention the Nation of Domination on that one. There's where I would, and the reason I didn't do that because where I would have also put him under Oppressed Black Man, because let me tell you, if he wanted to really say what he said when WWF made him come out as Farouk Assad and had the Gladiator, tried to pass him off as like a black Russell Crowe before like the Gladiator movie was even made. Oh yeah, Ron would have definitely said something. But that's just my opinion. Brian, do you have anything else to add on, Ron, before I turn over to L?
I mean, I know I was glad to see him get into the WWE Hall of Fame. I mean, because he definitely deserved to be there.
Yeah, he sure did. Sure did. L, what was your thoughts on Ron Simmons?
I'll be honest with you. Growing up as a kid, I was always, no lie, some people know this, some people don't know this about me, but deep down in my heart, I was always a Hulkamaniac, all right? I was always a Hulkamaniac. During the whole WCW days, though, back when Farouk was a champ and stuff, whether he be a heel or a face, especially during his heel time, I hated Farouk. But I loved it. As I got older, there was a reason why I hated him. He does what he does best. It's become an ass, And when I say an ass, I mean an ass in a good way, Not an asshole. Just an ass. Dude, you just hate him because of what he did to Sting. No, not Sting. And one thing about Farouk that stands out the most for me is very dedicated to his craft, whether he be a face or a heel. He made it shine, dude. He made it come out. He made it just stand out that you knew who the fuck he was, whether you put him in a whack-ass gimmick by wearing, like you guys said right now, by wearing something from out of 300 or Gladiator. It's like he made it work. That was fucking awesome. Like I said, either you loved him or you hated him, you still booed the crap out of him, but you still love the guy anyway. Farouk, congratulations on the whole Hall of Fame thing. You deserve it. No one else does. You deserve it. That was fucking awesome. And just like Red said, this guy is probably one of the top guys up there in my list.
Yeah. Well, since I talked about black WCW champions, that takes me to my next person, the five-time WCW champion. Yeah, Mr. Spinneroonie himself, Booker T. I gotta admit, Booker would be another person I'm actually gonna put in the proud black man category because I tell you what, now yes, Booker has had his coonish moments, namely when he was King Booker. I will digress from that.
Tell me, he didn't just say that.
Yes, he did, Booker.
Yeah, I did, Buck. I'm sorry. But I will say this, Booker T, he was, now, this is somebody that went from kind of and this is kind of appropriate to sidetrack sports for a moment, he kind of went the Ray Lewis route.
Oh?
He had all right, but Booker didn't murder anybody. But he did have a prison record, as we know, at one point in time. But then he turned his life around, straightened up, and then, like I said, 5-time WCW champion, 10-time tag team champion with brother Stevie Ray as the part of the legendary Harlem Heat tag team. Of course, got the World Heavyweight Championship in the WWE's King Booker, as I mentioned. Man, in my book, another man who's destined for the Hall of Fame, in my opinion, the one and only Booker T. Brandon, how do you feel about him?
Booker T, I've always liked Booker T. I mean, like you said, he was, part of the, tag team with his brother, the Harlem Heat, and, I followed him since the WCW days, and I was glad when, he was one of the ones that came over when, WCW was bought out by WWE. And when I saw him, I was like, oh, hell, Booker T, WWE. I said, this is going to be good. And, I mean, the guy could take whatever they give him and run with it. Like when they gave him the King Booker gimmick, I mean, he took it and ran with it. I mean, he can be serious. He can do the comical stuff. And, I mean, the guy is just, he's good. He's good at what he does.
Yeah, and plus, I do got to say this about one of my personal favorite Booker T things, even though, Booker kind of got his tail kicked during this one, was episode of SmackDown, him and Stone Cold in that supermarket.
I knew you were going to know.
Oh yeah, that's right. Cause that's the kind of close to your soul right there out there. And yeah. Wait, how far is Bakersfield from you? Just for the record.
For those of you that don't know where I'm from, I'm actually in downtown LA. Bakersfield is about a 2-hour drive north, going north.
Yeah. Yeah, and by the way, I'm also disappointed because I actually found out that supermarket actually closed recently. The infamous green, what was it, the Green Frog or Green? Yeah, they closed the market. What up with that? Oh. All right, L, what was your thoughts on Booker T?
Oh, man, before we get there, actually, we just got a new caller from the 618. Introduce yourself.
Hey, how you doing? This is promoter Bob Brooks calling you from Southern Illinois, down near St. Louis. How's everything out on the East Coast?
I was doing good. Bob, we were just getting busy. Right now, we just kicked off our Rumble. We're talking right now about the 5-time WCW champion Booker T.
All right, Booker T. I'll tell you what, that going back when with the tag team though, with him and Stevie, you had a tag team going on there.
That's right, Harlem Heat. You mentioned
it. That's it. And don't forget the Sensational Sherry in there.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, that's right. Sherry was with him for a long time now.
That's right. Yep, Harlem Heat, and but I know he had a problem with his back, I think there, and so things kind of had to go a different route.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you what, WCW days. I do a show from the Central Pacific called Classic Professional Wrestling, and I had on one of the early Georgia Championship Wrestling and WCW tag teams, which was the Assassins. But I'll tell you, you're talking about a powerful tag team though, with Harlem Heat. These guys, they were almost a copy, if you would, of Animal and Hawk, the Road Warriors. They were rough, tough guys,
Yeah, I gotta admit, now that is an interesting analogy right there because I never really considered them like a Road Warrior-esque tag team, as far as an overall thing, probably because because when Booker trimmed down a little bit, he actually became a little bit because the Road Warriors weren't exactly known for their agility, unlike the Harlem Heat. So it was there'd probably be the one thing that I may vary off of that, but I could kind of see a couple of tendencies in there, or especially if you put them in a street fight environment or a tornado match or whatever.
I gotta agree with you because you know what you're looking at. They could use holds. I don't want to sound like they were just out there and just total brute power, but because they could use holds when they had. But I'm just saying, kind of reflect back. If you think about Precious Paul Ellering and and the Road Warriors, and then you take Sensational Sherry and Harlem Heat. Imagine that clash right there. That's that would be a definite. Way to say you got your money's worth. Any fan would have gotten their money's worth on a match like that.
Right. Exactly. God rest her soul. Everybody got to love Sherry. Everybody got to love Booker. Out of all Booker T's matches, which match stands out the most?
Oh, you know what? That's a tough question. It really is. Because I was, with Booker T, I enjoyed the tag team matches more than trying to say, singling him out. Right. Did you look at it more from a singles point of view yourself, or did you?
No, you know what? I actually agree with you. I actually looked at Booker more of a tag team specialist.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah, well, I kind of saw it too, but he did have a couple of good singles, especially when you think about the Chris Benoit series that they had, and when they were trying to get for the TV title or whatever. But it's right. Like even like his match at WrestleMania with Triple H back in Seattle in 2003. But yeah, like I think that was one of the more underrated matches that he's had.
But an interesting analogy though that you make here though is about the weight, and I haven't heard that from a lot of people, but there was something that to me did stand out. He trimmed down, and I think when he went more into the singles competition than he did, as part of Harlem Heat. Would you agree on that?
I definitely agree with you on that one. I definitely do agree with that.
I didn't want to take away from Booker T. I just wanted to mention, though, with this being Black History Month, I just wanted to mention, I'm in the Midwest in the Chicago area, and if you wouldn't mind, I'd like to take my hat off to some of the stars that were here in the Midwest, like Sailor Art Thomas Jr., Bobo Brazil, Calypso Jim. We just had so many great stars, and hoping that we can remember them, because they do get forgotten, and that's one thing I try not to do is to let that happen, And I know you guys are doing a great job there with your show. So
no problem. Thank you very much. Seriously, thank you very much on that one.
Okay. And I just wanted to tell you too. I've got a good friend of yours, the Ballistic Brent Myers. He's getting ready for a show. He was going to call in himself as well, and reminded me that he's got a booking here coming up on Saturday. So he was heading towards the airport and wasn't able to call in. But I said, well, hey, I wanted to get a chance to call in and just to let everybody know this is the show to listen to, and make sure that you guys know that you got a lot of fans, a lot of listeners out there, and we appreciate your show.
All right, so let's pick it up with our next person, Shelton Benjamin. And this one, I'm going to oppressed because I am trying to. All right, mic skills notwithstanding, could you not put a mouthpiece with this guy if he's that bad? You got everything else covered. Hook him up with a manager. Is it that hard? Yeah, that's pretty much all I got to say right there.
Damn.
Elle, what do you think about that one?
Gold standard. Who could ever forget the gold standard, Shelton Benjamin? Damn. Where do I start? You know what? And guys, don't fuck me up when I say this. Like, really, don't fuck me up when I say this. But finally, the first black guy to be very athletic in such a long, and I do mean long time. We typically see a black guy come in. He's usually a bully. He's usually like a heel. Let's be honest. I don't know why, but they usually put him. They make him look kind of like from the hood and stuff. Sheldon actually, I remember debuting. I'm like, dude, look at this guy. He's black. I'm like, any minute they're gonna give him some stupid gimmick like he's some rapper, or he's like somebody's little baby cousin or something like that, right? Dude, this guy, like, just like I said, the gold standard. Damn, fuck, like. I don't want to bash the guy because to me he stood out. He stood out. I'm not gonna lie, and don't take this the wrong way, all my African American friends out there. He just put you guys on the map, He really did. He put it like this. I'll say this: he's number 2 on my list as one of the top black wrestlers. Yeah, number one is Ron Simmons, though, but number 2 is Shelton Benjamin.
It's pretty high praise there, right there. Red, you want to counter that one?
I had to say, I'm gonna agree with Elle. He was one of the most athletic, black wrestlers that WWE's ever had. He just. If you look at his matches and see, the guy's just, he does shit like, I don't even know how to explain it. When he would do shit, you just like, wow, you know what I'm saying? He's just, the guy was just very athletic, he was, excuse me. like I said, one of the top best athletes that they had.
Yeah, I got to give you that one because Shelton Benjamin was Shelton Benjamin was just like phenomenal, and I was like, you know what I think was like should have been his breakout match was, well, actually there were two in particular, and ironically, it was against the Click of all people, with him set one over Triple H. Well, actually,
oh yeah, I remember that one, and that one
classic, dude.
And the one with HBK.
Yep. Yeah, because I gotta admit, like, he sold that super kick like there was no tomorrow, and like I said, if you remember, for the first half of that match, Benjamin was actually like dominating Michaels.
Yes, he was.
If it wasn't for that super kick that he took when he came off the top rope, I think Benjamin would have had that match.
Yeah, because I was like, well, because there's like no avoiding it whatsoever, because it was like he just jumped right into it, and it was like, there was like he couldn't stop it. And then I was like, well, even his matches with Jericho, I thought should have put him over too, but like for some reason, he just went south on him. Yeah, what do you think, like, besides his lacking of talking, like, it hurts Shelton Benjamin?
Like, that's the thing. Red said it best. His abilities, his agility and everything, his, being very athletic, just, like, put him up there so much, but it's just that, you said it too, Maurice, in the beginning. His mouthpiece was just not working, Yeah. But, I think that's the thing, too, what sometimes even Stone Cold Steve Austin brought up at one point on a shoot interview. Sometimes they give you a gimmick, WWE gives you a gimmick, and it's like, it doesn't matter what it is. Sometimes you, as a wrestler, you got to bring it out. I think that that's one of the reasons why Sheldon is being so successful right now in Japan. Him and MVP, hopefully he makes the list later on tonight. But Sheldon, when he freestyles and he just does him, he's just him, dude, he's fucking awesome on the mic. Believe it or not, he actually is. He's awesome on the mic. I don't know if you guys ever heard him just cut a promo and just start talking shit. Like, he's pretty awesome, especially in his Ring of Honor days. I don't know if you guys got to see a chance to see any of that. But, yeah, pretty awesome.
All right, well, next up, I want to talk the Soul Man, Mr. Rocky Johnson, a.k.a., for those who don't know, and it's a shame if y'all don't by now, of course, this man, the father of the current WWE champion, Dwayne The Rock Johnson. I got to admit, like, now, I did not see Soul Man in the prime of his career, so I had to, like, YouTube a lot of his stuff. And I got to admit, this was somebody unbelievable. This was somebody ahead of his time in my book, because he had a great physique. He was actually agile for like a power wrestler. And actually, if you look at The Rock, basically, if you see The Rock, like when he first came in, that was pretty much Rocky Johnson, like to a core, but it's like, and even I won't say that he wasn't as boisterous to Rock, but Rocky Johnson could definitely talk on a microphone too. So he definitely was a pure class act, and of course, one half of the first all-black WWE Tag Team Champions, of course, with the man I'm going to bring up a little bit later, and Mr. USA Tony Atlas. Red, can you talk to me about your thoughts on the Soul Man, Rocky Johnson?
I saw a few of his matches, in his heyday, and you're right. He was pretty agile for a power wrestling. He was good, and if I'm not mistaken, him and Tony Atlas was like the first black tag team.
Yep.
Champions.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that like I said, he was one of the pioneers for black wrestlers. Him and Tony Atlas. That was that was a milestone right there. Them being the first black tag team champions.
Yep. And we should mention on a side note that although Rocky was primarily in the tag wrestling in the WWE, he was also he also held many singles like heavyweight champions in many of the NWA regions as well. So don't think that Rocky was just a tag team specialist. But because by no means, nor was it, by the way, we should mention we should mention WWE Hall of Famer in 2008, inducted by his son, The Rock. We should mention that as well. Of course, L, your thoughts on the Soul Man?
Damn. All right, here we go. Get ready for this one. This is a pretty good one. I actually started following Soul Man. Believe it or not, it had to do with an interview with The Rock. But it wasn't like, like before, like a little before the Hall of Fame induction or anything like that. It was a little way before even Soul Man was actually inducted into the Hall of Fame. This all happened on Extra, believe it or not. Of all shows, Extra. Extra has The Rock on the show, and The Rock is talking about how he's going to do a little cameo up on the show, that 70s show.
Yeah, that's right. I remember that episode, him and Shamrock were. And
yes.
Of course, The Rock's portraying his dad.
Yes, and like you said it, Rock's portraying his dad and stuff. And I was like, wait a minute, The Rock had a dad? Like, by the way, I was only, 15 at the time? Maybe 16, I don't know, I'm losing my track on that, 16, 17, so I'm like, wait, The Rock had a dad in wrestling? I'm like, are you serious? I'm like, no way. And I'm like thinking, it's probably going to be I honestly thought, no, this is going to trip you guys out. I actually thought his dad was going to be a Samoan guy. I'm thinking, fucking, what's his goddamn name? King Fuji, is it King Fuji? Or am I saying it wrong? Or Fuji was the manager, and King Haku, my bad, I'm sorry. I don't know why Fuji came into my head, I'm sorry. Haku popped in my head, all these other Samoan guys popped in my head, I'm thinking, who's his dad? I'm like, I really had a curious to know. When I found out that was his dad, I was shocked. I'm like, no fucking way, that's his dad? I'm like, all right. The whole name threw me off, But, that's one thing that got me so interested that I actually started looking this guy up. And that time, most of everybody on the East Coast was already on the internet, so we didn't have internet. We had to literally ask people from the East Coast, hey, send me a tape, a VHS tape or a DVD. Send me a tape or something so I could see what the hell you guys are talking about, because you guys mentioned all this stuff on the internet, and it's like, you don't know what it was. And by the way, not to show off my age or anything, but yeah, YouTube wasn't invented at the time. So it was kind of hard to look up these guys. But when I started getting these tapes, and there's a wrestling shop not that far from my house that actually had a collection of his matches. Oh my God, dude, this guy was a beast. Maurice, you nailed it right on the top of the nail when you said it was a little early for his time when showing off and his skills and stuff like that. Very high flying, very powerful man. Awesome guy, dude. Seriously, this guy got down in all his matches. But that was one of the reasons I looked him up. I had to do my little research on this guy because of the 70s show. When he did that little The Rock did a little promo on Extra saying, hey, watch the 70s show. I'm playing my dad, Rocky Johnson. I'm like, what? I was like, wow, that's crazy.
And then as both Brian and I mentioned, we're going to go to the other half of the Soul Patrol, Mr. USA Tony Atlas. And yes, this man was a literal Mr. USA.
Very much.
Like a very massive physique. one of the most powerful men in wrestling in his time. And matter of fact, another man I think that was ahead of his time, and that is, and I was even shocked on this one. I actually found out this is the very first man to ever pin Hulk Hogan. So this tells you what Tony Atlas is all about. Sadly, Tony, as it was especially in the 80s, fell into the drugs, got into the success and the money. Then went back on the indie circuit, got himself straightened up after a little while. It was a process, but nice to see Mr. USA still looking as strong as ever. I got to admit, for a man, I believe if he's not in his 60s, then he's like close to it. To still look in phenomenal shape is nothing short of that. Of course, and then seeing him back in ECW recently, mentoring Mark Henry for a brief while. Red, what was your thoughts on Mr. USA?
Mr. Who now?
Yeah, we're going to Atlas.
Oh, Atlas?
Yeah.
I like Tony Atlas. I other than the matches I've seen him in the tag team, I never really, got to see any of his matches. But from what I know, he was pretty good athlete himself.
Yeah, like I said, I actually remember, like, when I first saw him, it was actually outside of the WWF. He was in ICW promotion over in Parsippany, New Jersey, and he was actually fighting Ricky Steamboat's younger brother, Vic Steamboat. And I had to admit, those were like, that was a heated rivalry over in the Jersey scene. And then, of course, and then a couple weeks later, I catch him coming back to the WWF as a Saba Simba, as a African tribesman right there. So it was like, Tony was definitely like one of those people that he just had a presence that just commanded him. What was your thoughts on the Mr. USA Tony Atlas?
Oh man, here we go with the research again. Another guy I had to look through. If we all remember the show called True Life, I Want to Be a Pro Wrestler. I don't know if you guys ever watched it on MTV. This is an old documentary. Came out back in 99, maybe 98. There's a documentary that came out on MTV called True Life, I Want to Be a Pro Wrestler. In that documentary, the head story of that documentary is Tony Atlas. And Tony Atlas was talking about how he was, in WWE or WWF, and he mentioned about the whole territorial thing, NWA. He mentions all that. He talks about how his daily life struggles as being a world champion, but yet homeless. Now, his whole life story was so touching that I had to get into it. I started looking up this guy, started finding out even more, about his own thing, like as in being his own independent wrestler, not as a tag team specialist yet, but as, just Tony Atlas himself. My God, like seriously, this guy, once again, just like Soul Man, this guy was a beast. And Tony Atlas was probably, to me, how should I say, a little ahead of its time, this guy was just like the Batista of the early 70s, early 80s, around there. And dude, like I said, this guy was a beast.
Yeah. All right. Well, the next person I'm going to bring up. Well, see, I haven't really gotten into the coon category yet, but I'm getting ready to now. Coco Beware. Now, I will say this. Coco, if you look at his career outside of the WWF, it's actually a pretty decent guy. He held like a lot of tag team titles. Matter of fact, was once a partner of Bobby Eaton of the Midnight Express. Yeah, they were called the Pretty Young Things. And now, whether that was before or after the Michael Jackson song, I don't know. But that's just weird. But of course, we all know Coco best in the WWE as the Birdman, carrying Frankie the McCall around.
Ladies and gentlemen, Garfield and friends.
Yep. I already know. We got an instigator up in here. What's up, Jake?
Really, he just gonna interrupt you talking.
See, that's because he's just letting you know. He's just letting you know when people are coming in.
Okay.
It actually is kind of comical that you came in right now because on our list we was talking about the Coco Beware, and I'm like, how in the world did this man stay in the WWE as long as he had? Because outside of beating Greg the Hammer Valentine once on an episode of Superstars, I did not remember this man beating anybody of relevance. And that was just, and then on top of that, then they had to team him up with Owen Hart. And High Energy could have been a good tag team, but then they made him wear them parachute pants.
You mean the hammer pants?
Yeah.
Go Hammer, go Hammer, go. Oh, I'm sorry.
And then on top of that, Coco had the. And then on top of that, Coco had to hike his up like he was Urkel with somebody. And I was like,
wow.
Oh, Lord. Yeah, and by the way, folks, if you don't know what I'm talking about, watch the 93 Rumble and then watch when Coco actually comes into the match. You'll see where I'm going with that one. Well, Jake, since you just came in, I want to start with you. What's your thoughts on Coco Beware?
His name says it all. Beware.
That's all you had to say. We got two sound. We got two sound bites and one clip right there.
I think that's the first time that ever happened. Do I get a slammy?
You did very well for that one. All right. Ray, do you got anything? Jake, did you have anything else, or was that pretty much it?
Yeah, that's it.
Hate it.
Red, your thoughts on the Birdman?
I never really liked Coco Beware. He was not one of my favorites at all.
That's basically what I just said. You a copycat.
So, L, are we going to make this a clean sweep?
Actually, forget both of you guys, man. Forget you guys. Coco was a shit, man. Growing up watching him and Frankie, come on, man.
Frankie?
Man.
Yeah,
hey, you guys are forgetting.
I did jam out the pile driver, though.
Hell no, man. I don't know. That's some bullshit. That's some bullshit on my people right there. My other people.
You claiming them?
I am a part-time coon, all right? Shoot.
Damn.
Nah, but seriously, how could you not have any love for Coco and Frankie and High Octane, or what they call them, high energy?
Yeah.
See, you don't even remember the name. See?
Close enough, man.
Yeah.
No, but going back to his victories, I do believe he did beat Ronnie Garvin, all right, on Superstars.
Yeah.
No, it was Valentine he beat.
Was it Valentine?
Yeah, Garvin was helping him.
No, this was before Garvin actually turned face.
Oh. He actually did. Yeah.
I do remember a match between them two.
Yeah. But I do got to say this, though. I did jam out the Power Driver. That was a pretty good song, though. and even do the bird. That was actually cool too. But anyway, speaking of coons, I'm going to go to one of the few people that I actually put in all three categories: coon, oppressed black man, and believe it or not, proud black man. And I don't even know how the proud part comes in.
Oh wow!
But I'm going to go with R-Truth on this one.
Oh, you started early. All right.
Wow. Yeah. I can already tell you how the coon part comes in because this whole little Jimmy thing.
Hey, leave the little Jimmy out of this.
Hey, well, that's kind of why. That disrespected so many people's blackness on. Yeah, and Chris, I just wanted to throw that in for you, bro, because at some point somebody had to say it. But I do gotta say this: like, if anybody saw Truth back in his early TNA days, there's where the oppressed black man came in when he was K Crush, because man, he would say like he would go off on the people. Yeah, because he would say like all the, and actually kind of saw a little bit of it like when he did that one promo when he came out in Union Soldier outfit. He said ain't nothing good ever come out the South. And I was like, uh-oh. I knew where he was going with that line. He was reverting back to K Crush for a minute because, man, he used to be anti-white people at one point. Well, at least his character was. Yeah, but now here's where I actually put him in the proud black man category. Because, say what you want. Now, although I brought this up, as Sean, I kind of went into this earlier, although Bobo Brazil technically was the first to do it, his reign was not recognized. But when TNA was under the NWA banner, Ron Killings, R-Truth, whatever you're going to call him, was recognized as the first black NWA World Champion when he defeated Ken Shamrock. And I was like, in a way, like, Truth's been all over the world, but hey, you got to give the man his due when he doesn't. Matter of fact, he's a 2-time NWA champion. So you kind of got to give him his due.
Now, let me put you in the spot real quick. Human Encyclopedia. Now you're telling me that R-Truth, aka Ron Killings, was in TNA before the WWE or after? But no, wait, I take that back. NWA champion before he joined Road Dogg as, what were they called again?
Get rowdy.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Were we not supposed to mention that?
3 Live Crew.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
No. I'm talking about what Red said.
Okay, here's it. All right, after he was K-Quick, and then he left that. Then when TNA started, he was a world champion before he teamed up with 3 Live Crew.
No. I'm saying he was K-Quick, and then he jumped over to the NWA Championship, and then back to the WWE as R-Truth.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yep.
Okay, I thought it was around that same time.
Yeah, it was like all one jumble right there, but matter of fact, and you should remember because he even teamed with Pac-Man for a while, and they was the tag team champions.
Yeah.
Don't even remind me about that one, but okay.
I remember that blowed.
Yeah, and so Red, what did you think about R-Truth?
I've always liked R-Truth. I mean, take it, they gave him some crazy ass gimmicks, but you can't take away from his athletic ability in that ring. I mean, that dude can hang. He can hang with the best of them.
Yeah, and I do gotta admit, Truth. I gotta admit, for a man who's getting up there, he can still go on that one because. Yeah, he may not like have all his steps there, but he can still hang with most people. Let me go to Jake. Your thoughts on the truth. And Jacob. Gator. All right. I guess we lost it. L?
Yeah, man. Our truth was dude, I got to agree with Red. Our truth was basically, he's very athletic, dude. He's very athletic. But, coming from a producer's eye, it's like, why does he have to take that coon, juking and jiving character? I mean, is that something he's just so used to doing, or is it the fact that it's just too easy for him? But overall, I mean, our truth is probably like Red said, he's very athletic. He can hang in there with everybody.
And ladies and gentlemen, we do mean coon with the K.
Yes, coon with the K.
Yeah. Man, next person I want to talk about. I gotta holla at the player himself, the one, the only Theodore R. Long. Now, a lot of people forget Teddy Long has been all over the globe when it comes to professional wrestling. He has been a manager. Believe it or not, at one point in time, he was a manager of former WWF champion Psycho Sid Vicious as part of the Sky. And that's fact, he managed two former champions because he also managed Sid's replacement, Mean Mark, a.k.a. The Undertaker, in the Skyscrapers in the NWA/WCW. It was a former manager of Butch Reed and Ron Simmons, a.k.a. Doom, the first black NWA/WCW tag team champions. Let's see. Actually managed Two Cold Scorpio at one point at WCW. Yeah, of course, former general manager of SmackDown right here in the WWE. He's a former referee. The man's pretty much done it all in this community. He was a long time role model down in the Atlanta area. Always speaking at the young kids. Always doing like volunteer projects out there. So Teddy Long has definitely been somebody that definitely earned a lot of recognition throughout his days. And that is a fact. He was actually voted Manager of the Year. Like twice in a row, first African American Manager of the Year. Let me go to Red. Your thoughts on Teddy Long?
Teddy Long, man, I've always liked Teddy Long. He's always entertaining to watch. I mean, I remember that gimmick he was doing when he had Rodney Mack and it was talking about the black guys beating the white man. I was like, what the hell is going on with this? I mean, if I'm not mistaken, he was the first black referee, wasn't he?
Yeah.
I believe so, yeah.
He was among the first of them.
Yep. So, yeah, I mean, that guy, he's always entertaining to watch. I mean, he never lets me down. He's always doing some funny shit. I mean, just like that when he had the heart attack at his own wedding. I'm like, really?
Yep.
This is how we're going to go with this one.
Mm-hmm. Teddy Long. I was like, I was wondering if somebody was going to mention the White Boy Challenge, but yeah.
It was hilarious, dude. My boy Rodney Mack here could beat any white boy out there. I'm like,
yep.
Seriously.
Yeah, and I was like, wow, Teddy like really go. Yeah, I was surprised they really went as long as they did with that angle because I was expecting like Teddy to get like threats from Triple K or something like that. I don't know. Anyway, L, your thoughts on Teddy Long?
Teddy Long, my hat goes out to Teddy Long. Man is a creative genius, especially when, he's another guy, if you let him loose, he will come up with some crazy-ass shit for you. By the way, congratulations to Teddy Long. because he actually gave Ricky the Dragon Steamboat his 1, 2, 3. When Red mentioned about being the first black ref, Teddy Long was the first one to count that for Ricky. Well, Ricky won his first World Heavyweight Championship. Historic-wise, that was one awesome moment right there. Teddy Long, dude, like, you know, you said it best, Maurice. He's just been everywhere, you know. He got his feet wet. He got himself through the door. Dude, this guy's the man, dude. He mad respect for him.
Yeah, and I'm about to say you definitely have to give him some respect considering he managed Mark Mero when he was breaking in his Johnny B. Bad. So he definitely got to get some credit for that.
Exactly.
10. All right, and then speaking of black managers, I got to go to one of my personal favorite people, one of my personal favorite entertaining characters of all time, the Doctor of Style Slick. Now, I got to admit, Slick may have been one of the most stereotypical characters ever, but there's no denying he had a charisma and a presence to him.
Yes, he did.
And plus, not to mention, I do like a lot of them suits he was wearing. And plus, yeah, I was hoping I could get to dance with the Slickster one time. And as a matter of fact, when I got to meet him, I actually did for him. We actually did a little something. And by the way, I got to admit, I did not think he was actually as tall as he was. That brother was built. But, yeah, Red, talk to me about the Doctor of Style.
What we say there?
We're talking about the Doctor of Style, Slick.
Slick, man, what can we say about Slick? Man, and he was one of the best managers out there. I mean, Slick. I mean, you had to love him for some of the underhanded shit that he did.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, just to think of where he is now and how he was back then, you was like, that's not the same dude.
Yeah, that's right. And actually, I was a little shocked when I found out about this because I was like, yeah, because for those who don't know, yeah, Slick actually is a real ordained minister. And I was like, wait a minute, he was actually a deacon in his church while he was playing this character, and I'm like, wow, man, that's some real acting ability right there. If you could play like a street hustler while still being a real life church person, that's talent. All right, L, your thoughts on the Doctor Style?
Slick was, this guy, like, where to start? I love Slick. Don't get me wrong. I love Slick. I think the one thing that stood out the most was the fact how he actually converted one-man gang as Hakeem.
I was trying to whisper, please don't say Hakeem. Please don't say Hakeem. And that's why I had to avoid it.
Maurice, come on, dude. That was fucking awesome. Convert, I guess you could say, one-man gang, a white guy into a black guy named Hakeem.
Yeah.
That was awesome, dude. If you guys don't know the story, Maurice, break it down for them.
Yeah, sadly I do remember this. I was like, I saw this clip like, here's Slick's promising he's gonna bring somebody back from Africa, and like he like literally with the power of a boombox, like the old school ghetto blasters. If y'all know what they were back in the day, don't act like y'all don't. Well, unless like even some of y'all that was born in the mid-90s, even y'all know what they is. Yeah, but the power of a ghetto blaster boombox, he converts the one-man gang with some fake chin and turns them into Hakeem, the African dream. And I was like, wow. Now I've literally seen it all now. And then I do got to admit, there is one thing about Slick I did like. He resuscitated Rick Martel's career a little bit, too, and then actually wound up turning. So I was like, yeah, I got to give him props for that one.
Hell yeah. And another moment of mine was, besides that one, also when he got to manage Bad News Brown.
Oh,
it was his idea. That was crazy. If people don't know this, it was his idea to use the sewer rat to go up against Jake the Snake Roberts versus Damien.
Mm.
I'm sorry, it was Jake and Damien versus Bad News Brown and that sewer rat from New York or Harlem or wherever it was.
Yeah, actually, because I'm glad you did, because we're starting to run out of time here. I'm glad you brought up Bad News, because that's where I wanted to go next. Man, you want to talk about an oppressed black man. This dude, like, literally, he ain't like nobody. Like, you want to talk about somebody who could, like, literally, if you hit him the wrong way, he would stiff you the rest of the match, because there are certain things he was not supposed to do with him in the ring, and if you messed up, he was going to let you have it.
Yes.
Red, do you remember, what do you know about Bad News Brown?
I don't know too much about Bad News Brown, to be honest.
Yeah, I would say like the two things I knew about Bad News most of all. One, do not make a deal with him in a battle royal, as the Hitman would find out at WrestleMania 4. And then the second thing was, don't ever like throw snakes at him, because apparently, although Bad News wasn't afraid of him, it's just like that whole sewer rat thing is a mess.
Right.
El, your thought? Do you have any extra thoughts on Bad News?
Bad News Brown, one of my top 5 heels. No, wait, I'm sorry. One of my top 10 heels. What am I saying, 5? I don't know why I said 5. But, yeah, one of my top 10 heels right there. Bad News Brown was probably like one of these guys that, you said it best. You just didn't want to mess with. This guy would, I know Maurice doesn't like to cuss, but I'll say it for him. Shoot. This guy would fuck you up.
Sure.
Talk about being stiff. This guy was stiff. I mean, seriously. I remember there was one match between him and Piper. Oh, my God. This is before even the word came out. He bitch slapped his ass. All right? They're pushing each other. They're rolling around the floor. Piper's being funny, giving him the Three Stooges, the 2 fingers in the eyes, the poke of doom, and stuff like that. Next, Bad News Brown gets up from the floor. He's like, you know what? Bitch, bam. I think, to this day, I still believe that was the first ever bitch slap.
Yeah, even before Stephanie?
Even before that.
All right. But actually, a lot of people remember, because Bad News was actually a legit martial artist in judo and taekwondo, so he was a former Olympian. So.
Oh, wow. I didn't even know that.
And, it was back, I think back in it's either 72 or 76 Olympics. He was a bronze medalist in judo. Real quickly, I want to also talk some other names. I want to talk the Big Cat Ernie Ladd, former member of the San Diego Chargers turned pro wrestler. Matter of fact, now a lot of people didn't notice Ernie was actually one of the first black men pushed as a heel. It was pretty much a heel for most of his career, but then actually wound up, when he was doing color commentary with Gorilla Monsoon, was actually like a second face commentator right about now. Definitely one of the biggest men, and actually one of the few men that actually could match science with Andre the Giant at the Andre's peak of his career. Red, do you have any thoughts on the Big Cat?
Wait a minute. Which cat? No, Miller?
Ernie Ladd. Yeah.
Ernie Ladd. I never really got to see too many of his matches. I mean, No, I've seen a few of them, but I never really got to follow his career that much.
All right. El, do you have any?
Well, I hate to be a party pooper. I don't really know him that well.
Okay. Yeah, well, sadly, because Ernie did Ernie did pass away like back in I believe '98, but it's just he was actually one of the first inductees into the WWE Hall of Fame. He was inducted in 1995 as well. So yeah, he was definitely a charismatic character, even though he was a heel. Another name I had to mention, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention Bobo Brazil, as we mentioned earlier in the broadcast, the first black NWA champion, but unfortunately his reign was not recognized due to politics back in those days. And along with another wrestler by the name of Bearcat Wright, these two guys, were amongst the men who fought for the independence of segregation in professional wrestling. And Bobo Brazil actually was had noted wins over guys like Nature Boy Buddy Rogers, as I said, for the NWA Heavyweight Championship. Also had heavyweight championship wins over guys like Killer Kowalski and Classic Freddie Blassie. So definitely one of the most old school guys in the game. Red or El, would either of you have anything to say about Bobo at all? Or it's just like another...
I'll go first. Red, on this one, once again, not being a party rumor, I don't really know too much about the guy. I do know he was one of the first black NWA champs. That's about it.
Red, would I think the same that you didn't know much about him either?
Mm-mm.
All right, and then, of course, I got to talk about one of my all-time classics, another WWE Hall of Famer, Sylvester Ritter, but y'all know him better. Hey, JYD, the Junkyard Dog.
Now we talking.
Red, I will let you take this one then.
Man, Junkyard Dog was one of my all-time favorites. I mean, he was actually one of the faces that I did like, because even as a kid, I was never really much on the faces. I always liked the heels. I was always, like, big on the heels, but he was one of my favorites, and I loved his finisher. I mean, it tripped me out every time I saw it. I even actually had an action figure of the Junkyard Dog.
Yeah, of course, the big thump, power slam right there, and of course, one of the hardest craniums in the business. You can't hit JYD in the head. And of course, I already mentioned his charisma. Matter of fact, one of the few men that may have actually rivaled Hulk Hogan in the charisma category.
Yes, he did. Definitely with you.
Yeah, definitely a crowd fan, especially amongst the children right there. I always remembered in his post-match celebrations, always dancing around with the kids at that point in time. El, your thoughts on JYD?
JYD. You got to bring up this moment. Probably to me one of those touching moments ever. JYD versus... Well, actually, there's two moments for me on this one. JYD versus Big John Studd in a Power Slam challenge. And also, WrestleMania 3, JYD versus, I believe, Adrian Adonis. If I say his name wrong, sorry about that.
Yeah. Actually, it was JYD Harley Race. Yeah.
Was it Harley Race?
Yeah. Because remember, they were competing for the... Yeah, because remember, Harley was the king at the time.
Oh, shit. Fuck, I got to look back now. My bad.
Yeah. But I knew the match you were going with that one. It was like, yeah, matter of fact, I actually throw in the third one for you.
Are you sure? Like that's not to test you out on that one. Are you sure?
Yeah, because remember, because Piper was fighting Adonis at WrestleMania 3.
Right.
Yeah, because that's where Brutus Beefcake became the barber. But I actually even throw in another moment for you, and actually a lot of people may not remember this one, but yeah, WrestleMania 1 was not the first pay-per-view from WWE. There's actually a show, it's just called the Wrestling Classic, and it was a 16-man tournament, I believe, and JYD actually was the winner of the tournament, actually defeating Randy Macho Man Savage in the finals of the tournament at the point in time, and also that card was also headed up by Hulk Hogan and Roddy Piper for the WWF Championship. So JYD actually the first man to like win a pay-per-view main event. And of course, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention somebody that I got to see this week. The one, the only high-flying Too Cold Scorpio came in as a mystery partner with Ron Simmons in the November '92 Clash of Champions. Had an epic match against Chris Benoit at Super Brawl 3. Of course, came over in the WWF as Flash Funk. Actually, I jumped ahead a little bit there. Was in ECW for a couple years. Actually, at one point in time, was the television and tag team champion at the same time, earning him the name Too Gold Scorpio. Red, can you talk to me about Too Cold Scorpio?
Too Cold Scorpio. If I'm not mistaken, he was Flash Funk too, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I remember him when he came to WWE as Flash Funk. That's who I really remember him as right there, as Flash Funk. He was, he was one of my favorites, too. And, he was very athletic in the ring as well. And I don't know if it's just me, but I kind of like that gimmick, the Flash Funk.
Yeah, I was about to say, yeah, you would have liked it better if Naomi and Cameron was around back in the day as his Funkettes, but
hell yeah.
Yeah, I was about to say, Brodus Clay, before you was around, yeah, there was another man who was the king of funk. But I'm digressing.
That's the real Funkasaurus.
Yeah. L, your thoughts on Too Cold?
Dude, awesome fucking match in ECW. It was him versus Chris Jericho. I was about to say Lionheart. I was going to call him Chris Lionheart, but no, it was Lionheart, Chris Jericho. Dude, they fucking put an awesome fucking match. If you guys got Netflix, go to Netflix, type in ECW Volume 1. I believe it's called ECW Uncensored. I could be wrong about that one, but there's only 2 videos in there, so it's the top one. There's 2 videos in there. Check it out. It's Scorpio versus Jericho. Awesome fucking match. Like, seriously, this guy and don't get me wrong, guys. Don't get me wrong. Don't start hating on me on this one. But for a black guy, dude, this guy was very high flying. Yeah, he was down for his shit. Is basically what I'm trying to say. He was down for his shit. Like, wow, like, dude, that's very rare. Usually the black guy is always, like I said before, in the beginning. Usually the black guy is always like this guy who just beats you up. He's not ground and pound wrestler. He's not too much of a high flyer. But like literally, this guy literally, dude, he was really something to watch. Seriously, you guys check that match out. Seriously.
Yeah. All right, and real quick, I didn't want to disrespect our ladies because I know we only got like a couple minutes left here in the show. But
actually, Maurice, before you get there, don't forget the Ugandan giant Kamala.
Yeah. Let's go to Kamala real quick. Yeah, one of Hulk Hogan's chief rivals in the mid-'80s, and of course, made him famous for his series of battles with the Undertaker in the in 1992 at SummerSlam in the Survivor Series.
In that giant-ass casket.
Yeah. Yeah, of course, Kamala, the Uganda Giant. Definitely one of those interesting characters, to say the least. I gotta admit, fought with everybody, like Hogan and JYD, Andre, like I said, Taker. He was definitely a fierce competitor, to say the least, no matter who he's against. Hell, your thoughts on the Uganda Giant?
Ugandan Giant Kamala, when he first debuted in Lucha Libre AAA and, of course, in CMLL. Oh, my God, this guy was a beast. This guy used to put fear in a luchador, because it's like, how are you going to be able to pick this guy up? But no, actually, believe it or not, a lot of people didn't know this about this Kamala. Kamala could actually fly, dude.
Yeah,
Kamala was one of the first big men to... Yes, Kamala was actually one of the first big guys to take a super plancha off the top ropes.
I did not know that.
That was fucking awesome, dude. Like, seriously, I think that's right there where it captured my attention about Kamala, was the fact that here's a 400-pounder going to the top of the ropes and doing a super plancha like nothing.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Talk about a splash.
Exactly.
Seriously.
Now that's a splash.
Yeah. Real quickly, I do want to get into our ladies real quick because, because I know we're starting to run out of time here, but, we had to mention, of course, Awesome Kong, Kia Stevens, who you know, Awesome Kong, Karma in the WWE. Actually was the 1998 Woman of the Year by Pro Wrestling Illustrated magazine. Several women's championships all over the world, especially in Japan. TNA. I'm sad she didn't get a chance to do her thing in WWE, but there's no saying that Awesome Kong is definitely one of the most dominant female wrestlers in the game, past, present, and future. Also, wanted to give a shout out to Miss Jacqueline Moore, Miss Jackie in the WWF first, only female cruiserweight champion in the WWE.
By the way, she still looks fabulous, by the way.
Yeah.
Yes, she does.
Yes, she does.
Ooh,
defeated Chavo Guerrero Jr. in Chavo Classic in a triple threat to achieve that status. Actually, at one point in time was actually in the USWA's version of the Nation of Domination down in the Memphis territory as well. And of course, first African American WWF Women's Champion when she defeated Sable back in 1998. We should give her that accolade as well. And last but not least, Jazz, first woman of hardcore wrestling. Of course, we should mention one of the strongest women ever, and like I said, besides Jackie, the first woman to actually defend the WWF Women's title at a WrestleMania, and she was also victorious at WrestleMania 18 in a triple threat match against Toronto's own Trish Stratus, and as well as the high-flying Lita.
That's what's up.
So just wanted to give our ladies their due as well. I want to thank Red and L for their help as always, and make sure you guys check us out. Make sure you guys check me out next week when it's our Valentine's Day show where we look back at some of the most memorable romances, both good and bad, in the wrestling history. That'll be next Wednesday night on Ring Rockers.
Oh, no love for Jacob?
Oh, I forgot. Gator's been silent most of his show, so I was like, which is unusual for him.
I had to take care of some business, so I actually wasn't here. You didn't know that?
Yeah.
Dang.
Well, we kind of heard you dip off for a little bit, but I was like, we knew you were doing your thing. Of course, the King Instigator himself, But, of course, I love the member of the WCC family, Mr. Jacob Marshall.
Of course.
Of course, I got to get, and of course, where you can find him, L, myself, and Red, and all the WCC family. You know where to hit us up. You can do it on Twitter at WCC Live. You can hit us up on Facebook at Wrestling Commentary Central, or you can hit us up WCC Live as well. Make sure you check out the recipe tomorrow night after Impact. Breakdown will be back Saturday at 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 Central, with Mr. Tame Bring It, WCC CEO himself, and myself. As always, we got the Uncensored show on Monday after Raw. And, of course, Mr. Jones, EL.CIBERNETICO, Tuesday nights at 10:30 Eastern, 9:30 Central with Overload. And like I said, I will be back next Wednesday. WCC Ring Rockers, 10 p.m. 9 Central, 8 Mountain, 7 Pacific, right here on WCC, the new voice of wrestling. I'm Rockin' Reese. Hey, the music may be over, but the wrestling talk never will be. WCC Ring Rockers, keep on slamming. Thanks for tuning in. I will see you next week, everybody.